Hey, welcome to our new YouTube channel. We are the Bald Believers, and we want to bring you maybe a weekly devotional. Bring up,
we'll cover some topics. We'll cover some characters. Hopefully this goes over really well. We'd like to include you, so we'd like for you to send us what you would like to hear, and we would do our best to try to cover that as well. Possibly even Q&A. Now, I can tell you, we won't know all the answers, right? So sometimes it's okay to say, I don't know. But we're up for the challenge. So if you want to send them to us, we'll be glad to try to answer them.
We will do the research and we'll do the digging and try to come up with an answer. Like Jamie said, it's okay to say, I don't know. It's a little dangerous to find somebody that says they have all the answers. And by the way, I'm Chad.
And I'm Jamie.
And we'll be hosting this little deal, and we hope to have a podcast up and running at some point in time as well.
Yeah, because we know that all of you don't have a vehicle that drives itself.
Yeah.
So we don't want you to be watching this and get in trouble. So we want to throw it on a few different media platforms. So hopefully you can catch us on some podcasts. So we'll give you the information as we get it loaded up.
And I think today's topic is spiritual endurance.
Spiritual endurance, right? Something that you and I both are very familiar with. Endurance.
Yes.
We're very familiar with our spirituality as well.
Mm-hmm.
Something some of you will know about us is we enjoy endurance sports.
Yes, I look like I enjoy table endurance, but it's not always the truth.
So we like watching marathons. We enjoy watching cycling events and seeing people push themselves. So something that Chad has knocked off the bucket list was you managed to run a full marathon.
Yeah.
So I'm still, I haven't done that. I've only been half as crazy, knocking out a half marathon, but you went the full distance.
I can tell you what helped on the full distance is knowing that I had a friend that had my back regardless. Whether I finished or not, he was going to support me. And it works that way in your spiritual walk. It's you need to have an accountability partner or several accountability partners and to help you with your walk with the Lord. And that's kind of what the church family is about. And the Bible has several great examples of people who've shown amazing spiritual endurance. Paul.
Yeah. I mean, you could go on and on and on, right? I mean, we could look at Paul and see what he done, and he's got a lot of different texts that he shared with us. Now, one that comes to mind is 1 Corinthians 9:24, when he says, "Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one receiveth the prize? So run that you may obtain it." And that was always a thing whenever I was out competing, right? Now, I knew that I wasn't at the level that I was going to win, right? I knew that I wasn't going to, but I wanted to give my absolute best. And I think that should be the same in our spiritual walk. And I think a lot of times, now you tell me what you think, Chad, but I think a lot of times we're guilty of not putting enough into it. Right?
Yes.
I think we're guilty of wondering, why is this not turning out like I think it should? And then I find that I haven't been spending the time in it that I need to be putting in.
Oh, yeah. Everything shows up on race day. It doesn't matter. You can't tell by taking a look at who's out there, by their age, size, nothing. You can't tell that. It's all what they put into it. And it translates over into your spiritual walk, just like you're saying.
Yeah. So we do want to honor Christ in a way that we're giving it our all. I'm confident that he doesn't want us to give mediocre, right? I'm confident he doesn't want us just to give half the effort, but he wants us to give all. And that's why we have texts like that in 1 Corinthians say, "So run that you may obtain it." So I should be giving it all that I've got and running in a manner that I would obtain it. And then knowing, like Chad said, that we have those partners, we have those accountability partners, we have those people that's on our side that we know. And who are those? They're the church. They're your church family. They're your spiritual partners, right? That you talk to, that you let know what you're going through, that help you out during those times.
Yeah.
So
because it can get lonesome sometimes. You can feel alone. You can feel like everything's laying on your shoulders. I think about one of my favorite characters in the Bible, Elijah. Elijah went through a tremendous amount. Elijah was told to go up to King Ahab and tell him that, hey, it's not going to rain until I say it is. And then we're talking 3.5 years and without rain. And Elijah went through a lot. Elijah was told to go sit by a stream and that the ravens would bring him food and that he could drink from the stream. So he went until the stream dried up. Then he was told to go and stay with a woman that the Lord had set aside to take care of him. And he goes, and this woman is, she's about to make a cake with the last little bit of oil they had, and she said her and her son were going to go in and die. And Elijah said, no, as long as I'm here with you until it rains again, is what he said, that won't waste. That little bit of meal and that little bit of oil won't go away, and it didn't. Her son dies, and he goes back in and he prays for her son's life to be returned, and it's returned. And he goes through all of this, and he goes back to Israel, and he stands alone in front of a king who doesn't like him. Because imagine, it's been 3.5 years, right? No rain.
No rain.
Right?
Not very popular.
Not a popular guy. They're not happy with him, right? He stands up before all the prophets of Baal, right? And all these people who are angry with him, and he holds his faith with God, right? And God brings the fire down onto the sacrifice, right? So you would think at this point that Elijah's riding pretty high, right? He's probably feeling pretty good, right? Because he goes up and he sends his servant to say, oh, you go 7 times and tell me what you see. You know, and he comes back and he says, I see a cloud over the water that looks like a hand. And Elijah tells Ahab, he said, hey, it's fixing to rain. He said, you better get back. So they go back and the rain comes, right? So, I mean, this is amazing. You know, all of the things that God did in Ahab's life. And as soon as he gets back, Ahab's wife, Jezebel, she finds out what's happened, and she sends a threatening message, just a threatening message to Elijah, and he wilts. He's out.
That was enough, right?
Right. And if somebody with that amount of faith can falter, right? Somebody who God has used that much can falter. Any of us can. You know, and we find Elijah alone in a cave, right? Feeling sorry for himself. And I think we've all been there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, after this great thing that he did, right, after seeing God's hand and seeing what God was able to do, and then finding himself in that position.
Yeah.
And we'd say, wow, how did that happen? You know, how does something, but it is a reminder, you know, it's a reminder to me as you shared that when it talks in Hebrews 12:1. It says, therefore, since we're surrounded by such a great cloud of witness, let us lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. Here's the good part, right? Looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who by the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated on the right hand of the throne of God. So we have, like Chad shared with us, we have all these characters in the Bible that are an example, right? So we're surrounded by such a great cloud of witness.
Yeah.
So it's a reminder to me that in these times whenever I feel down and weak and like I'm in this race alone, right? I've got this crowd that's cheering me on, saying you can do it, right? It's going to turn out all right, and it should relate that way in other aspects as well. You know, it should look that way in our church family. So you know, as we share with each other what we're going through, right, and that way we're there for each other. I think it's important. That's why the Apostle Paul told us to pray for one another.
Yes.
So you know, to lift
bear one another's burdens.
Bear one another's burdens. So to know that you got somebody standing in the gap.
Yeah.
Because you're going to need somebody standing in the gap.
Yeah. You know, Elijah was there in that cave alone, right? And he was feeling pretty sorry for himself. And I think we all hit those points where we have the big pity party, right? And he hears this great wind come by the cave, but God's not there. There's an earthquake, but God's not there. Then there's a big fire that comes along, but God's not there. Then there's this still small voice. You know, and Elijah comes out and God says, hey, why are you here? What are you doing here? And then Elijah just throws it out to God. You know, he just says, hey, you know, I've been doing all this stuff. I've been serving you. And I'm the only one that's left. And everybody, they're all seeking my life now. They want me dead. You know, we may not have said those words, but in this race, right, we've probably felt that way, like we're alone. Yeah. And the thing is, we look to God and we say, hey, God, give me an answer. This is what Elijah's doing. Give me an answer to this specific question. But it doesn't work that way with God, right? Because God lets Elijah go ahead and say all he's got to say. And when Elijah's finished feeling sorry for himself, God says, okay, here's what I want you to do. And he gives him some instructions, and he says, by the way, I know 7,000 that have not bowed the knee to Baal. So in other words, you're not alone, Elijah, and you're not alone either, and we're not alone.
Right. It's something that we always, at least personally, I struggle with sometimes, right? Thinking that it's just, I'm out here doing this thing all by myself. So I have to be encouraged to know that I'm not alone, to know I'm not going it by myself, and knowing that that it isn't a sprint, but it is a marathon.
Yes. So
if we're sprinting our faith, then guess what? You're going to tire out really, really quick. Just like so, both of us in the marathon, half marathon setting, from the get go, when that gun sounds off, pow, and you've got all those thousands of people, and you hear that, all those feet hitting the pavement, an instant snap wants to go, and you can feel the endorphins hit down your spine, and you're ready to go, right? And if you're not careful, for the first little bit, you're sprinting. Yeah. And you've got to remind yourself that, whoa, wait a minute. In my case, I've got 13 miles left ahead of me. In Chad's case, I've got 26 miles left ahead of me.
Point two.
Let's give you all the credit.
Point two. You got them all.
You got them all. And we have to remember that that we got to slow down. It is an endurance type thing. So be encouraged in that. So be encouraged and know that you're not in the race alone. That you're not running by yourself. Then hopefully that you have a good faith support system, right?
Right.
That you lean upon, that you're leaning into, and most importantly, that you're leaning on the Lord. So that's first and foremost, that we lean on Him in our times of struggle. And just look around. People are struggling right now.
They are. People are struggling right now. But it may not feel like God's there, but He always is there. Your walk is not a feeling. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But your faith is not a feeling; it's a fact.
That's true. It is a fact. So, I don't know. Hopefully you'll find some use in this. Hopefully you'll see that you'll take something you'll be able to apply it. That may be an encouraging seed somewhere down the line.
Some comfort. You can see the importance maybe of having a tight-knit church family, people to lean on, and people that can lean on you when they need it.
Absolutely.
So this is our first video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any topics or anything you'd like to talk about or questions, like we mentioned earlier, like Jamey mentioned earlier, please leave a comment. And if you like it, subscribe.
Wherever the button is,
hit the like button.
And know when those questions come, Chad's more the deep thinker. I'm more of a shallow mind, all right? So I'll give you the shallow mind, but Chad will be good there.
I don't know how deep I can think. But thank you. Have a good week.
All right.
See you.
Out.